Yo, what's going on, guys? It's BH Davis. I'm back, finally back for another video. This video is going to be covering my settings so that encapsulates everything from controller sensitivity to dead zone, and I'm going to be including my binds too, all my settings. So with that being said, I waited off really long on this video because I was just making sure I got like the best settings that I'm gonna be sticking with, and I finally cracked the code. I found exactly what works best for me, and it's kind of funny because these are, in my opinion, the best finds, but literally no one uses them. Like, I haven't found anyone that uses them. If you find anyone that uses them, be sure to link them down in the comments. But like I said, it's so weird, but it works really well for me, and you'll see why, because I'll be having some clips in while I go. And yeah, make sure to leave a like and comment on the video, and make sure to sub if you're not already subbed, and turn notifications on so you don't miss videos. Yeah, so that would be much appreciated. Any feedback would be awesome too. So yeah, thank you. I'll be getting into the buttons now. Okay, so before we start, I have a little bit of a disclaimer. I do play with paddles on the back of my controller. I know that honestly most controller players don't play claw with paddles, but that's okay because I still go over a lot of different binds in this that are still important to non-claw or non-paddle players. So I have that, and then I also have a Control Freak on my right stick. And I believe that's the Inferno Control Freak. These also go for really cheap. But yeah, other than that, it's a normal PlayStation controller. Okay, so let's get right into the settings. Motion blur, I do have that on. This is only a setting on the PS4 Pro and PCs and stuff. So if you're the normal PS4, you can't put this on, but it's really not a big deal. I just like the way it looks. Makes clips look a little bit smoother, but really no big deal. Alright, so let's get into the game settings. Controller sensitivity X, that is a 0.70, and then Y is also a 0.70. Found this to be a pretty good balance between high and low sense. I just enjoy 7, feels good for me, easy to hit shots with, but also fast enough where you can have your back to someone and be able to turn around and shoot them with good reaction time. So I'd recommend 7.7. So my controller targeting sensitivity is a 0.422, and my controller scope sensitivity is a 0.513. So the targeting sense is a bit on the lower side. I like it a little bit lower, easier to track my enemies and hit shots. And so for my building sense, I have 1.501, and then my edit mode sense, I also have a 1.501. I found this to be a good balance between being able to move and build quickly without messing up my builds, and be able to build consistently. Same thing goes with editing, quick enough edits where I'm able to control it. So I like that editing and build sense. Let's go on. So set scale of the HUD, I have 0.73. I like a bit of a smaller HUD so it doesn't block out my screen too much. Still able to see. Show FPS I'm on. Sprint by default, definitely recommend this. Frees up a bind on the left stick. So I would definitely turn that on and then bind something else to the left stick. If you're a non-claw player, I definitely recommend doing jump to left stick. I had that before I got paddles, and it was very good. So definitely take a look into that. So sprint cancels reloading off, tap to search on, toggle targeting off, reset building choice on, aim assist on, edit mode aim assist off. There's a lot of debate about this, but I just like it off better, find it better. Turbo building, definitely want that on. Let's see, auto open doors, I have that on. If you didn't know, if you're going through a door and you have auto open doors on, you can switch weapons really fast, and this allows it to cancel the opening door animation and lets you run through quicker. So something to experiment with. Auto pick up weapons, I have that on. I just like it. That one's sort of a preference thing. Auto sort consumables to the right, also a preference thing. I have that on. Build a pro, build immediately on again. Control the whole time doesn't really matter for me because I have instant edits. Vibration off, I just don't like vibration on. Also a preference thing. Record replays off. If you didn't know, if you turn all of these off, you won't get the replays, but it actually does help your FPS count, which is huge for us on console who can't disable graphic settings. So I definitely recommend turning that off. And you can still clip stuff from like Capture Gallery if you're on PlayStation 4. And then I'm not really sure how they do it on Xbox, but I'm sure it's the same thing. Brightness calibration, I have 0.55. This all really depends on your monitor or TV you're playing on, honestly. So don't really take that into too much consideration. Sound effects volume, I have that all the way up. Music volume 0.2. Definitely recommend putting sound effects all the way up. That's really nice. It helps with your awareness and being able to hear. And definitely recommend investing in good headphones that are able to track enemy movements with your ears. It's good. Okay, next. Colorblind mode, don't have any colorblind on. Not colorblind, so that's about all there is to that. Combat controls, this is where it gets into the binds. I switch my swap weapons, and so my previous weapon is on L2 and my next weapon is on R2, and that's like LT and RT for Xbox. Basically, the reason you want to do this is because you want to have your quick movements or quick actions you want to do on R1 and L1, because these buttons are really good because they're really quick. The triggers aren't that good on PlayStation controllers or Xbox controllers because you have to press it down kind of far for it to engage. So R1 and L1 or LB and RB are actually going to be a lot quicker. So especially if you're going for quick edits or quick shots, you definitely want these ones because it negates that. So that being said, I made L1 edit. This is something that's pretty weird. No one really uses L1 to edit. So, and I'll be going into why that is. So next I got aim down sights. That's on my circle button, which is, I think it's B for Xbox. It's the one to the right. Anyways, this one is kind of weird. I have this mapped to my back left paddle. So it's not really like I'm pressing the actual face button. I just press a paddle. But I learned to love it, so there's that. Crouch. Normally it's just the right stick automatically. I also have mine the right stick, but what you want to do here is take it off crouch / repair and just make it crouch. Because when you have it bound to two things like crouch and repair, you can't do it as fast. Like you just have to experiment with it. There's other videos on it. Just switch it to just crouch. You can crouch a lot quicker and you can experiment with yourself. It's weird, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but that's just how the game works. So definitely recommend switching that too. Left stick is my switch mode. That one's a really good one. Definitely recommend using the left stick for something. Free bind and allows me to keep my fingers on the buttons and the sticks without lifting them off. So next is build controls. L2 is my stair piece, R2 my wall piece, R1 my floor piece, and L1 is my edit. So this is where it's kind of weird. Normally L1 on Build Pro is your roof piece, but instead of the roof piece, I moved that to circle, which is my back left paddle, which is something that no one really does, but L1's just an easier button to press than even the paddle. So I like to prioritize my edits, make them really quick, and yeah, and I'm still able to place cones fine, so no problem there. Let's see, so on my right stick I have trap, prick, picker, place, and interact. So I just use that to be able to keep my thumbs on the sticks and place traps. So if I'm boxing someone up, I can turn really quick and be able to place traps while I'm sort of turning. And so my change material trap is on the touchpad. If you're on PlayStation, definitely recommend using the touchpad. It's a really versatile button, and that's just good so I can switch materials while I'm building depending on what the other player is using. Like if they're using a deal, you definitely don't want to use wood, and you can just switch to metal really quick while maintaining control. So that's a good bind too. Next, edit controls. So I have my circle confirm. That's probably the biggest one. Definitely recommend doing this. The reason why you want circle to confirm or a different button than your actual edit mode button is because it's a lot quicker, having 2 binds. There's also a lot of videos on this. Raider464 is definitely one to watch. He has probably the quickest edits ever, and he sort of pioneered this method of having 2 different edit and confirm buttons, and it just makes them really quick. Also something you can experiment with. Just trust me, make the switch, it'll pay off. R1 select, also recommend this switch. I've been doing this for a long time. Normally your R2 is select. R1, it's just a quicker button unless you have hair triggers. So if you're on a normal controller, switch to R1. You can thank me later. R2 is reset. This is also something I've been doing for a while. It feels natural, feels a lot better than the right stick. It's easier to press. Just also something to experiment with. Let me know what you think. Dead zone, I have 0.12 and 0.12. That's just 0.13 there. Should be 0.12 though. So 0.12 and 0.12 is what feels right for me. I wouldn't take this into too much consideration either, because it really honestly depends on how much your controller is worn out. If you've had your PlayStation controller for a long time, or your Xbox, sometimes the sticks like wear down over time. So if you move your dead zone too far down, you're gonna have some drifting issues. So I think the main thing to go for when going for dead zone is to make it as low as possible until like you almost get drift with the stick, where it like just moves by itself. Like you want to get like right where it like doesn't do that for you. And yeah, that's where I like it. So that's my binds and my settings. So yeah, leave a comment, let me know what you thought of the whole video, and let me know what you want to see next. And yeah, thank you so much. Bye.